happening, everybody? Welcome in, everybody. My name is Canis. Welcome back in. Whew. It's good to be back. I got my little hat here supporting my favorite hockey teams. Oh, all right. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of work to do. A lot of things happening. But before that can happen, we got to talk about certain things. Before we can come in here. Actually, let me adjust my camera real quick. I'm kind of zoomed out a little bit. Why didn't no one tell me? All right. Let's go back about right there. Perfect. Awesome. So, first and foremost, looks like we got a new follower. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and just replay that new follow. That way I can give the proper amount of thank you. Bella Ivy Rose, thank you so much for the follow. I truly do appreciate it. It means the world to me. Thank you. And with that, we're going to keep this ball rolling. Okay? We have made a lot of progress. And for the most part, generally speaking, the framework is done. But there's still a few things. We still have a few issues. And those few issues come into the expandability of the framework. It comes into a matter of, the ability to act, not the ability, I'm going to say abilities a lot here, but the ability to create delayed cooldowns within our abilities. Now, that right off the bat might seem a little odd, but if you think back to, let's say, I'm trying to think of a character. I had a character in mind before, I lost it. But if you think back to a character where you use an ability and it gives yourself a shield or something, or it spawns an illusion or a clone or something along those lines, and then the cooldown doesn't start immediately. The cooldown begins after the clone goes away, after the shield goes away. And so you have this delayed cooldown effect. The other reason why we could do this, or why we would need this, is because you have the in-use, multi-use, sorry, Nick is a little itchy. You have this kind of while active use abilities. And one of those is going to be actually on our very first character with the ability called Fey Illusion. Now, this ability is pretty straightforward. You use the ability, an illusion comes out and goes in the direction that you're aiming. The player can then go wherever the hell that they want. But they essentially diverge. Now, at that point, while that clone is still active, if you press the button again and you use the ability again, you actually teleport to the clone's position. Okay. So what we want to do with that in the ability framework is you use the ability. And that ability changes. Just the icon changes to a teleport. The illusion goes over here, you go over here. Now, if the illusion times out, that is when the cooldown begins. Or if you use teleport, you teleport over. That is where the teleport begins. We don't want you to fire off that ability, use the illusion, and the cooldown immediately starts going. Because that can cause a little tricky framework, issues. So we want to go ahead and fix all of that. So we're going to fix that today. The other thing that we're going to do, and I just realized I haven't brought up my other project yet. My notes project. So we're going to bring that up. And while I'm doing that, You see my loading for that project happening up right now. The other thing that we definitely need to talk about is hello lights. We have to do floating combat text, floating health bars, and then once that's in, we can actually start working on a few different characters. And that's actually going to make a lot of things a lot easier. But we need to get this framework still in place. Without this framework in place, it might have some issues later on. And it's much better to see the problem now and fix those problems before we go into having like 20, 30 plus characters. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So before we jump right into it, as always, it wouldn't be a Canis stream without a massive cup of coffee. And this is a huge cup. Much bigger than my normal one. But big cup for big changes. So, all right, let's get into this. So right off the bat, we're going to have to go into our data, go into tables, or go into structs, sorry. We're going to go into the ability data struct. And at the very bottom here, we have use transform offset. That way we can spawn things, you know, plus 10 from our current position, or, you know, plus 20 to the side of our current position, whatever we need to do. Then we have the use actor transform, which will, you know, spawn it directly on top of us. This is going to be great for shields or auras or, you know, that kind of ability. Then we have use mass position. Again, something that just sprout up, kind of like the flower healing abilities that we have. We're going to need to add one more. Okay? So we're going to come up here, click add variable. And then we're going to do, in brackets, for cooldown. Very important. We're going to go ahead and say delayed cooldown. Okay? This Boolean right here is going to be the basis for everything. So we're going to come in here and save this. Close that. And we're going to go back over to our tables folder and go into ability data table. Now, we have this Fey Illusion ability. This is definitely going to use or require a delayed cooldown. So we're going to go ahead and click that. We're also going to come in into our Fey Blessing and go ahead and use delayed cooldown as well. Okay. So while we're in here, we're going to go in, make sure that those two are good. Okay. We can scroll all the way to the right and you can see we got a true and a true for this delayed cooldown. And I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and just let's just take off the hat. So now that we have that, we can go into our systems folder, go into components, and go into ability manager. And then we're going to go straight into our spawn ability function. Now, it doesn't matter which one you click on. You can also click on it on the top left. But in here, you might have noticed a few things. You might have noticed that I went ahead and cleaned some of this up. And yes, this is way more clean than what it was. But we're working it. Okay? So what we're going to do is come in here and we're going to need a Boolean. Okay? Now, we could run a massive line all the way up to all of them. We could. Instead, what we're going to do is, because we have so many Booleans here, we have so many different things here, we're actually going to go ahead and just create a local variable. Actually, we will double check it. We will do that later. We're going to go ahead and run a route straight into the middle of all of this. Actually, we'll come down here. As you can tell, I didn't exactly plan this one out super well. But we now have our beautiful little route. Okay. Remember, this is going straight from the delayed cooldown. We're going to come over here. We're going to need a branch for this, a branch for this, and a branch up here. 3 branches. And so we're going to come in here and just move this along. And go false. Okay. We're going to move these begin cooldowns off to the side. We're going to go ahead and slap this right in the middle. And remember, we're going from false into the begin cooldown. Now, the reason why we want to go into false is because if we're using delayed cooldown, then realistically, we don't want to trigger the cooldown immediately. If we trigger the cooldown immediately, then there's no point. It's going to trigger it right off the bat. Instead, what's going to happen, to kind of explain this, we're going to go and compile and save. Care Bear, thank you so much for the follow. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're awesome. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the family. So if we come in and we actually go into our master character, okay? On any of our abilities, you will see that it comes in here and just checks, hey, are we active? Can we do anything? Okay? Then we check for our state's crowd control effects. Are we crowd controlled? No? Moving on. Are we currently attacking? Because if we're currently attacking, no. Don't bother. You know, we don't want to do anything. We're in the middle of an animation. Then goes to, are the ability on cooldown, trigger the combat timer, take the mana off, and then flip the attacking on. Okay? Pretty simple. And then when we come into actually using the ability, we're flipping on this boolean right off the bat. We're doing a quick double check. Is it on cooldown? No. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and use it. When you come down into cooldown, it comes in and says, hey, we're not attacking anymore. And then it says, hey, are we on cooldown? Yes. Okay, then go ahead and run that cooldown. And then after the cooldown, go ahead and, turn the cooldown off. So this very small little adjustment will actually make it so where the ability is delayed. Or rather, the ability cooldown is delayed. So that small detachment. Okay? So right away, there's going to be one problem that I can already just see right off the top of my head. And that is, this is attacking. Okay? So we need to come back in here. Because if we don't fix this and say that we're no longer attacking, that means that we'll use that ability that needs a manual or delayed cooldown. We're not coming off of that attacking state, so we're not going to be able to attack. We're not going to be able to continue to attack. So instead, we're going to have to come in here, go back in, and we're going to take all of these and simply drop them down. Care Bear, thank you very welcome. Are we able to go back to see how you got this far? You are, in a couple different ways. You can actually go through our channel, actually onto the Canis Aran channel, and go back into videos. From there, you will see all of the previous broadcasts, all the previous streams, and you will see it from day one. Exactly what is being done, how it's being done, and why it's being done that way. If there is anything specific that you are looking for, I can probably just go back over and show it to you. There's no reason why I can't just swing over and explain how that mechanic works. But it's a very good question. I would highly recommend checking out our all the VODs from previous things. So we're definitely going to need to switch the attacking portion of it over. Okay? So let's go ahead and see how we got that attacking variable. Get player pawn, cast the CH master, set attacking. So let's go ahead, instead of just, causing more work for us, we're going to go ahead and just highlight all of it and hit Control C to copy it. Then we're going to come back into our function for spawn ability, and we're going to go ahead and Control V. Okay? We're going to come over here and just move this right up top. And this is going to make it so where if we're not going to go ahead and just trigger the cooldown, we can still tell the game, hey, we're not attacking anymore. We can still attack. Okay, we did the animation, we did the spawning, we did everything we need to. We can now attack again. So, Kid aggro. He's right there. So yeah, by doing this, we will make sure that we can come back in and actually just start attacking immediately. The delayed ability cooldown is going to come into play quite a bit later on. We want to make sure that we just have all of our options available to us for whatever our characters may need. I can definitely tell you that there are some characters coming up that you're actually going to be able to watch me develop that are going to utilize this delayed ability cooldown. Okay. Now, we did it up there once. Or twice. We need to go ahead and do it for the 3 times. Okay. Come in here. And again, same thing. Now, realistically, you might go in here and be like, the hell are you doing? Why are we doing this constantly? Couldn't we just take this and come back over to the begin play and just set it right here? And you're right, we could. I love how this community always tries to keep me honest. So let's go ahead and hit Control V. Okay. And that way we can come in here and just create a character reference variable. Character ref. It's open. And now all we have to do is come in here and plug these in. Yeah, I absolutely love when our community and my viewers be like, hey, can't you do it this way? Couldn't you do it this way? You absolutely could. And I love that. I love having that engagement. Now, one thing I do want to note here. This get player pawn 0. This is not going to work well when it comes to online multiplayer because it's going to simply just get the player index of 0. So, what we want to do is get owner. Okay? And remove get player pawn. We need to start thinking about multiplayer eventually. By doing it this way, it forgoes the player index. It forgoes the character index. It comes straight to the, I'm attached to this character. I'm going to work for this character. So, always, always, always be thinking ahead, too. So, we're going to come down here, and we're going to do the exact same thing right here. But instead of having this, we can use our beautiful little character reference. Check that out. That simple. So when we come in here, again, we're going to go ahead and remove pawn and the cast. Because again, we won't need it. Instead, we'll just plug this straight in. And let's make sure that we come in here and hook this all up the correct way. So we'll come in here, put it just like that. And then we'll duplicate it. Come down here. And we'll duplicate it one more time. Come right here. Okay. And again, we're coming in. Everything's great. However, you know, we are also using this get owner right here as well. So what we could do is just, again, delete that, use our character reference, and plug it in. And again, this just makes it a little bit easier. Okay. Again, get player pawn. That's going to work, but not in multiplayer. So we're going to go ahead and delete it and use our new character reference variable. Same thing with this. This is great. But we already set that variable. So we're going to come right here, put it in there. Get controller index. This, I'm not 100% sure of how we're going to do this. Because we need the controller. However, what we'll probably end up doing is get our character reference, get controller, and we can't plug it in there. Okay. No problem. So we're going to go in, come right here. Is player controlled? Nope, that is not going to work. Let's see. Get controller doesn't work. It returns the controller for the actor. Is player controlled? No. Is locally controlled? No. Get AI controller. It's not an AI controller. Get default controller. That is not what we want. Let's go ahead and try this again. Pawn. Let's just get controller. So we will have to come back to this because this may not work right there. Because controller object reference is not compatible with player controller. So let's do player controller. Nope. So if I do, let's say, self, get owner, get AI controller, yeah, I'm not sure how to do this. We'll have to look this up. This is fine for now. But again, we're going to need to sort this out before we hit multiplayer. Because otherwise, this is going to be a hell of a problem. Alright? So, this should work though. So we'll go ahead in here. Make sure that we come in here. Hit compile, save. Make sure that we're completely good to go on it. Now, we are going to add some debug print strings in here. Okay. And that way, what we can do is actually change certain abilities. So we're going to come in here and just do a very quick print string. Come in here. We'll go ahead and do a red because yay, red. do 10. And then we'll say ability cooldown was delayed. Okay. So we'll come in here, we'll do that. And we'll just drag it off of the delayed, the delayed ability buttons. Now, that's going to be great, but we're definitely going to need another one. So we're going to come in here. Okay. And we're going to come in here, actually. And let's go ahead and plug this. Let's say ability cooldown has begun. And we'll change this over to green. And let's go ahead and put this right here. Now, we're only going to test it on one ability. And it's just going to be the basic attack ability. So let's go ahead and hit compile, hit save. And then we're going to come back into our character 1 ability for Fey Blessing. Okay? Now, we set a character reference every time. And so we need to go ahead and get our get character reference. Okay? And we're going to go to Ability Manager. And we need to get a reference to the Ability Manager. And then come in here and then call Begin Cooldown. Okay? So by doing it this way, this will go ahead and test to make sure that everything is on the up and up. And let's just go ahead and double check Fey Blessing. Number 2 is up top. Fey Blessing has a delayed cooldown. Yes. Okay. Now we can come on in and hit play. Make sure our other abilities are working correctly. Yep, we're receiving healing. Everything's good. Okay. And now we're going to come over and we're going to go ahead and say, hey, here is the ability cooldown. Ability cooldown has begun. Now, I can't use ability right now. So we have a problem. But before we go to troubleshoot that problem, remember to hydrate. Coffee's an amazing thing. Okay, so our basic attack is still dead. Okay, it's dead in the water. And we got some errors here, so let's look at those errors. Access none within the, for the node, begin cooldown. Okay. And that's in the Fey Blessing. Access none and Fey Blessing. Okay. So we're going to come in here, and obviously there's a problem right here. We should have a reference to ourselves. And this reference should be made at the time of our ability spawning. So let's come back in here. And again, we have our actor. We have our setting of the character reference. Let's go ahead and do a very quick print to our character reference. And just make sure that this is actually working correctly. So if we come in here, we have hello, hello. Okay. So let's come in and have it print the name of our character. Okay. So now it is showing us. Awesome, no problem. So this is working. It's there. So now let's come over and do our spawn ability function. And we have this right here. Let's go ahead and do another one. Print string. I'm going to come down into here. come down over here and print this. What is the display name of the reference? Okay. So if we come over, we're not getting it. We're not getting anything out of there. It became completely empty. It spawned it, but for some reason it didn't set it. So let's go ahead and let's just pull this out real fast. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, so we're spawning BP ability. We're here. Okay, and we are setting our character reference to our character reference. Okay. So this should be spawning something, but for whatever reason, it's not. Let's go ahead and, make this red just to be on the safe side. And let's just go ahead and just print hello. See what happens. See that it's actually hitting this part. So we're not getting a hello there. Okay. No problem. Let's go ahead and break this link. And it could be that we're spawning it down here and we don't have that character reference down up there. So we could definitely be having a problem here. So let's go ahead and just unhighlight these and move these over. I come in here and we're going to duplicate this twice. All right. Target obviously goes into the target. Hook these up. Reconnect. And then put these back into a nice subtle place. And then let's try it again. And I'm pretty sure that could have been the fix for our problem. So we'll go ahead and hit play. I'm going to say, okay. Ability cooldown has begun. So it is healing. It now works. Oh, but because I didn't hit on that one, let's just make sure we come in here and we constantly hit the other player. As you can see, it's spawning. Everything's going good, which means that the ability delay system is actually working. It's waiting for the impact for that ability. Because it's waiting for the impact of that ability, everything is fine. It's setting the character reference. We're good to go on that. Perfect. Now, obviously, for all of this, we don't need to go for this. We don't need to, have this there. But instead, we're going to go ahead and just delete this here. We don't have to have that there. We'll have that on the other abilities. Okay. And we can come back in for a Fey Blessing. Make sure that we're selecting on a Fey Blessing. And we'll remove this delayed cooldown. So that way it just keeps going. And we need to double check that that is actually still working as well. Let's come in here. We're shooting. And we're still the ability to heal. Perfect. Okay. So let's come back into the ability manager script. And let's go ahead and remove this little message. We see what's going on here. Everything's working. Perfect. So there we go. That solves that entire issue right there. All right. Ow. So now that we have that, we went ahead, implemented a new feature / functional mechanic for our framework. And we went ahead and fixed a few bugs. And I also went through and has some foresight into what's going to happen for the online matchmaking and online gameplay. Swapped it around. Make sure that we're not using just player indexes the entire time. Okay? Let me go ahead and pop this back up. I forgot to do that. Sorry. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and take a very, very quick break just so I can give you guys an awesome message. A lot of people have been asking for this specific thing. A lot of people, actually. And every time people say, hey, do you have a Discord server? I always have to keep telling them, no, I don't. But that's changed. That has actually changed as of today. So, again, this isn't a, short break. I'm going to go have a cigarette. I'm going to go get more coffee. I still have plenty of coffee. This is, I told you it would happen this week. I'm going to create a Discord server so that way everyone that wants to can follow. Now, it is still very early. A lot of things still need to be done. However, I have created it today. So, the Discord server is up there. You can feel free to click on it, and hopefully that should work. Everything should be, should be good. And so I strongly encourage all of you, if you want to join and keep update on the progress of what's going on, be able to welcome to the server, Ivy Rose. Let me actually go ahead and turn off the notifications, just because I never want people to be like, hey, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off real fast. But I still see it. But yes. So thank you very much, Ivy Rose, for joining and being a part of the Discord server as well. This is something that you guys wanted. I really wanted to give it to you, but I wanted to make sure that it was done correctly. And I make sure I kind of understood what was going on. I didn't have a whole lot of experience making these servers, so I still need to go in and tweak a few things and kind of figure out how to do everything. But we're getting there. So there may be some defects, there may be some issues, there may be some weirdness kind of happening. But we're going to go ahead and get that sorted out the entire way. So, yeah. In fact, I already see one problem. And it's thanks to Ivy Rose. I just now see the problem. But we're going to fix that right now. And that's simply because the welcoming message puts you into the general chat. And as much as I want you to type in general, I would love for you to type in general. I have no problem with that. I specifically created a channel called Welcome to, make it so where it welcomes you in there. It puts you in there. So we're going to go ahead and just very quickly see if that is working, I guess. I don't know. But either way, feel free to, join our Discord. Again, we will be adding a lot more to it, adding a lot more functionality in there. Any updates that you could possibly want will be in there. Any questions that you might have for me or about the game or anything in Blueprints or Unreal, and even when we get into C++, ask away. Anything that you can, feel free to ask. I will offer my support in the best way I know how. So, that's there. I'm kind of happy for it. We'll see how everything goes. Let's see. Okay, so we got that sorted out. And of course, you know that I always try to do my best to keep track of everything that is going on and everything that needs to be done. You're gonna see, holy crap, white face again. So, unfortunately, I cannot show you everything that I am looking at this precise moment. Because it would give a lot of things away. Like, a lot of things away. Okay, so we got our delayed cooldown in. Character framework is damn near done. Then we also went through and retested to make sure that it doesn't affect our normal cooldowns as well as our normal abilities. Okay, so we're good on that end. We're good for that end as well. And of course, our primary ability for that is good to go. So we're actually looking really good. The healing works on that one. Let's go ahead and just test our little flower heals real fast. Definitely a temporary effect. That's not going to stay in there because holy hell, that is massive. But it works. And our temporary HP and MP bars also work really well. We just haven't reconnected them. Because if you come in and reconnect, hit play,